Hi everyone, welcome back to that Tottenham show. I mean, it's not a good time to be a Tottenham fan right now, but you can have some therapy sessions with us. Um, Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoy. We've got a new guest on, so yeah, hope you enjoy. Hi guys, welcome back to our show. This is my normal panelists, and how are you, Alan? How are you doing other than Tottenham?
Apart from Tottenham, I'm doing great, thanks. Tottenham-wise, not so good.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. Tanya, how are you doing? You good other than that?
Yeah, no, I'm great. Listen, Tottenham is not going to ruin my mood. That's for sure. I'm fabulous.
That's always what you're looking fabulous. And
Oh, stop it. How are you?
and new to the channel, we have Brian. How are you?
Woo!
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me come onto the channel. Really happy to be here. And yeah, everything here in Toronto, brilliant until you mentioned the TH word Tottenham Hotspur. And then I have a mental breakdown or shakes and shivers. So yeah, everything good apart from Tottenham.
PTSD when you see a football.
Yes, correct.
But it's great you're in Toronto. How's our supporting over there? Is it quite large? Do you know?
Do you know what it is? I moved over here because my wife is from Toronto. She lived in England for a bit, and then an opportunity came to come home for her to come home, and it's the best decision I ever made because Toronto is just incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
The first thing I did whenever I go anywhere is I find out where I can watch Spurs and where the official fan club is, and it's a great pub downtown. And it's actually I was amazed at how big Tottenham are here. But then you got to remember we had Paul Stalteri. So when we had him, that blew up here in Canada.
Yeah.
And then you got the Jermaine Defoe link for as short a time as he was here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was amazed at how big we are, but we're growing. And we've obviously got a big Canadian that follows in Steve Nash, the basketball player. So he does his job for us as well.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And you do the official Tottenham fan page, right?
So we're the official Toronto Spurs fan club or supporters club. We've got a chair that I work with the board, and I'm the admin on Facebook. So everything on Toronto Spurs Facebook is me.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's very weird. The fan base here, they're very, from the North American perspective, they're all give the board a chance, give the managers a chance. They're not as passionate and as cutthroat as us. So I had to rein it in a bit when I started because I was going absolutely mental. They're like, "How are you a Spurs fan when all you do is act negative?" I was like, "I've been a Spurs fan. I've been a Spurs fan for 41. It's an education, believe me."
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's a lifelong love affair that you have all these ups and downs with, basically being a Spurs fan.
Exactly. It's a life lesson supporting Tottenham. Why do you want the glory all the time?
You've got to be resilient. You've got to be reliable. You go through everything. You have torture being a Spurs fan. Honestly, growing up being a Spurs fan, you've definitely been through all the emotions. It's good life lesson, as you say. But yeah, on our last game, which was Man United, and another defeat. I don't even know how many we've done on defeats this season, guys. But Alan, what did you think of when the lineup came out? Obviously, we had Dyer in. Generally, that was my biggest red flag.
Yeah, I've said on many occasions now, Dyer and Sanchez shouldn't be near that defence. Too static, and Cavani basically tore him apart during the game. They both need to go. The lineup was pretty much as it has been the last couple of weeks. Well, with one or two changes. I just think quite a few of them just need to be dropped from the team. It's not the team, it's not the players necessarily, it's the way we line up. So yet again, half-hearted press. They play through the front 3 or 4, and then there's a massive gulf between. There's no midfielders, only Ndombele and Højbjerg. And they get played around too easily, and our defence is static. So I'm not confident going forward with any team going against any game, even Sheffield United coming up. I really am not confident with the way we're playing at all. I really am. It's that embarrassing watching our team at the moment. I've given up all hope for this season.
The thing is, we can lose to anyone right now. Like you said, I'm not confident going against anyone. No game is easy. No game you look at, even on paper, and you think, yeah, that's easy. Because I know we have a lot of poor players, but the way we set up, as you say, is just dreadful.
The thing is, the way Mourinho sets up, it's not even a Mourinho setup anymore because he changed his team and changed his ideas that many times. We're playing with no identity. It's just there's no. Before early on, season, it was all sitting back compact.
Yeah. 18 months on, I see no pattern of play. I see no pattern of press. There's nothing. You haven't coached anything into these players, and I get it if you're coaching and it's not coming off, or against the final third, and your shots aren't coming off. But we're doing nothing. But Tanya, what did you think? Seeing Sanchez, seeing Dyer? I know you're not the biggest.
I just think, out of those two, it's Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. Do you know what I mean? And I agree with Alan. I don't know why Jose puts them anywhere near the starting 11. I don't understand why he just can't put whatever happened between him and Toby aside for the sake of the team. Toby is the best centre-back at the football club. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. Don't know why he can't play, but there you go. Dyer is always a walking mistake. But to be honest with you, I agree with Alan. I think all in all, the team was still good enough to get something out of the game, regardless of Dyer playing. But when you watch us, again, it's just, I don't know what we're trying to do. And even going forward, I have to admit, it's a bit of a concern. I felt that the first half, we weren't terrible. I saw that there was a bit of intent there. There was some pressing. But when we had the ball, I don't know about you guys, but it was very sideways passing. We weren't getting in the box. We weren't creating big chances. Yes. And that's,
you know what? We're very easily pleased. I say, we played really well this half. We didn't actually play that well. It's better than what we have been doing.
Exactly.
And my dad said to me, Eleanor, you're getting a bit ahead of yourself. We ain't played amazing. We've just been better than what we normally are.
That's
Brian,
the sad
give
thing.
us your lowdown. What did you think of lineup? The way we played, our general, stance against United.
So our style of play and our lineup, I can put into the same thing. I think against Newcastle and against Man U, he's literally said, let's just do jumpers for goalposts and just run about a bit and do whatever you want, because I have no idea what we're doing. It's been a very, very long time where I've actually sat down and watched a game and said, I don't know what we're doing. I know I know we've got to chase after the ball and kick it to each other. But I don't understand. I don't understand it. And also, when it comes to Jose, when he says, "I don't tell them to defend and sit back," I don't tell them to defend and sit back. What kind of message does it send when on the 61st minute, when you're drawing 1-1, you take off Lo Celso for Sissoko? That doesn't really scream attack for me.
You know what? He's drawing a rod in his own back, saying, they're not listening to you, or you're coaching them this. Either way, that's your problem that you're creating. Either way, you're still the problem. Like if the players aren't listening to you, you need to go because you've lost the dressing room, or you're coaching them this. So I don't understand how he thinks that's helping him.
Well, do you know what? I don't think Jose has broken us. We've broken Jose, because everywhere he goes, he has 3 years, spends hundreds of millions, causes trouble, and goes. Well, he's done it with us in 18 months.
Yeah,
he's not got the money.
I also think it's timing. We got him a bit too late in his career. Like he's
about 15 years,
100%. I think for me, it's like, he wins stuff everywhere he goes and blah blah. But I'm not going to sit here and say like, Jose, leave because we're ruining you. No one's bigger than my club. I don't care who you are. If you're not good enough, I'm going to tell you. I don't care about what you've won, Chelsea. I don't care what you've won other clubs. I care about my club. And a League Cup is not going to, winning it or not, is not going to fix the fact that you have no long-term plan here at all. For me, my problem is looking to the future, and this is going to move on to the Kane thing. I feel like, we see loads of conflicting stories. Kane isn't a fan of Jose. Kane is a fan of Jose. For me, if I was Kane and I'm looking at that, I'm looking at where are we going to go as a club? There is I don't know as a fan. Like when we were under Poch, I knew we were trying to build something. I'm not trying to say he didn't make mistakes. He made mistakes and we should have won stuff. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is generally the stance from the board, on a board's perspective, it was, we're on the cusp of winning something big here. We're going to keep building this team. Whereas now it's like, where are we going to go next season? What are we actually doing? There's no long-term plan. So I feel like as a top player, you're looking at this and thinking, Are we going to buy a bunch of 18-year-olds next season under a manager that can't coach them? Are we going to start actually, like, do you know what I mean? You don't know where we're going as a club. Tanya, what's your thoughts on Kane at the moment? Like, there's so many conflicting stories out. Like, what do you think's going on?
I mean, it's nothing new, is it? Let's be honest. I think Kane leaving is the story of every single season, every single transfer window. Kane's going to leave. He has to leave to win trophies. But to be honest, I think he himself definitely wants to go. You can't blame him. I think we're in a massive, massive rut. We need a rebuild. Does he want to stick around for another one of those? I don't think so. And like you say, Eleanor, I worry about the future of the football club at the moment. I just think it's going to take another couple of years for us to even challenge for the top four, which is a worrying thing. But unfortunately, I think he may be in a situation where he might be forced to stay just because he is still on a long contract and just how much he's going to cost. I just don't think a club is going to spend that much on a 27-year-old who does get injured. He does still guarantee you 20 plus goals, but I think it just all depends on what club is going to cough up the cash. But I don't know.
You see the PSG, and then you see Poch, and then you see City saying stuff. It's like
it's a difficult one. I think the club have a very difficult decision to make, because if the club does cough up the cash, I don't know. I feel like maybe we might have to consider it, because I don't want him to be forced to stay, because then we're in a position where we've got an unhappy Kane, and you don't want that. It's never good for the dressing room, and it doesn't build a happy environment. So remains to be seen. I want him to stay. I think the club should actually do their utmost to keep him, because I think the minute he goes, honestly, guys, we're in an absolute shitter if he goes. I'm telling you that now.
Brian, what's your thoughts on the Kane situation? Would you sell him for a rebuild? For me, I don't trust Enoch with the money. But
bingo.
You go on,
That's the thing. Now I'm going to try and keep this. When I go into Levy, I kind of go into a rage. So I'm going to try and keep my rage.
Go for it.
So listen. When Liverpool sold Coutinho, they got 150 or whatever million, and they needed a goalkeeper and defender, and they went and broke the world record for both of them. If we sell Kane, let's say for 150 million, I think we'll get about 20 million out of that, and the rest will go in Levy and Lewis's skyrocket. That's the issue. Do you know what? If this board told me tomorrow is Friday, I wouldn't believe them. That's how bad it's got.
I know what you mean.
That's how bad it's got with them. I despise them. Listen, if Kane says he wants to go and a team pays the money, if Kane says he wants to stay, as much as I love him, I'm going to think there's something wrong with him, because he does not deserve this. He's been here for years, given everything for this club, been fed a packet of lies that we're going to strengthen, we're going to do this and do that, and it's broken promises. Yes, I want him to stay. I want him to finish his career and beat Greaves' record, but I just can't see it happening. And unfortunately, if he goes, we'll probably get Callum Wilson in as a replacement for Harry Kane.
Calvert-Lewin, I'm telling you, it's happening. Calvert-Lewin.
So I've got a bet with Ben from We Are Tottenham TV. He reckons Danny Ings are coming in, and I was like, not a chance. I don't see where we're going. And the worst thing about it all is, if we sell him, the way you attract big players is by showing them you've got great players to play along with. And if you lose Kane, you're losing a huge. There's only one other star. So I'm very concerned with this story.
It's scary. Alan, what's your thoughts on the whole Kane thing? Do you think he wants to go? Like, what do you think?
I've seen so many different stories the last week. I normally wait until it's on Sky Sports to believe it, so I'm going to leave it to that. What I'm going to say is I do not trust us with a rebuild. The last time we sold a big star, Bale, we bought 8 players, one of which turned out well, and it was pretty much awful buying. And I think it'll be either the same again, panic buying, or we won't invest the amount that we need, or buy the quality. We'll buy, no disrespect, but players that have to, propel themselves to be good or develop over 3 or 4 seasons. I just don't trust Enoch with the rebuild. I don't trust Levy with the rebuild. What I'm hoping is that, if Harry Kane wants to leave, I wouldn't begrudge him with it, because he's a top quality player, world class player that needs to win major or be competing major honours. I think if he doesn't get the move, because Daniel Levy won't say, okay, I'll let you go for cut price or anything, he'll try and get the max out of him. I think Harry Kane, if he doesn't get his move, he's not, because he is a Tottenham fan and he loves the club, I think he will be professional about it. I don't think he'll do what other players have done in the past and kick up his ankle and sit out of games or not turn up to training. I don't think he's that type of person. I don't think he'll be that type of player. But if he was to go, I wouldn't begrudge him with it because I wouldn't hold it against him. But obviously, you want your best player to stay.
Alan, I just have to ask a question. When you said that one quality player, you're talking about the great Vlad Klirishes, yeah? And the other great. Jesus Christ, that's the thing. They're always quantity over quality.
No, the only 100%. One we had from that we bought was Ericsson, wasn't it?
Ericsson,
he was the only one that turned out to be any good.
And we didn't even manage to keep on to hold of him. Like in the end, he didn't get his contract, and then he messed up. He went off. It's quite insane. For me, it's like Walker again, a more like recent player that we sold. And where did that money go? Like we didn't even see it. Like we haven't even seen it being reinvested properly. Like everyone was like, the Dybala deal will happen because of the Walker money. We never got that deal. The Walker money never came back. It's just like I don't trust them to actually refund properly. We never buy like for like, as you know, Brian was saying. The replacements we have in is never like for like. It's always get your backup to step up. You know, we sold Walker. It's fine. You know, we'll get Trippier to step up. Oh, but you know, Ben Davis is there. Danny Rose has fallen off. Ben Davis step up. We never buy like for like, and this is what happens throughout the squad. Like generally, one player starts getting old. And then you replace them with a youngster, but then your stars then are older when that player's in prime, and you never have the team all together because we never buy for the team all together. And this is why it worries me. People say, yeah, we need to fund a rebuild. That's cool and all. I'll only trust it if we have a different board. So keep on holding Kane because we ain't getting another player like that.
Do you know what? It's not so much. I think it's the recruitment. That's what it comes down, because I think we do spend money, but it's on the wrong players. So then you've got to look to the recruitment. Who the hell is picking these players? I'm not being funny, but you know, Bergwijn. I think he's got quality, and I actually think under a different manager he might be better. But whose decision was that to bring Bergwijn? Surely we could have got someone a lot better, and he's a lot more proven. You know, I just think it's even Lo Celso. We chose him over a Bruno Fernandes. Come on, man! It's like I don't hate Lo Celso, but this is the thing. This is the difference. We don't get that quality in. We don't.
You said the perfect thing about recruitment, and when you said Steven Bergwijn, it just reminded me. This is how good our recruitment is. So we signed Steven Bergwijn because we were looking for a striker to replace Kane. We didn't get that, but then what we did is we signed a right winger to play him at right back, even though we signed a right wing back in Doherty that we don't even play. That's the logic of our recruitment.
Yeah.
Honestly, we had a good recruitment when we had that 2016 team, and you know we were flying. But then you know what happened? He said that his dream job turned into a nightmare after arguing with Daniel Levy. Then he went off to Leipzig and created a great team.
Shocking, isn't it?
You know, it's funny because no matter who we get on, people are like, let's get Campos. I'm like, cool, but they could still argue with our owner because
this is a problem, Eleanor, because I actually think, you know, Levy's a deterrent for managers. You know, if you're a manager, why on earth are you going to want to come to Tottenham if you know you're going to have to work with Daniel Levy? You'd want to rip your hair out before you even get there. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is as well? It's funny because people
I love this. I love it.
People are saying he's such a good businessman. But, you know, that's exactly what deters clubs from wanting to do business with us. Because he's such a hard head, clubs don't want to talk to us. Because he, you know, they say a lot of clubs have actually said that's the last time I do business with Daniel Levy. Because he's actually so hard to do business with. Clubs don't want to talk to us. So people are like, yeah, we get such good money. Oh, they got Levy. I'm not celebrating them saving money. I don't see that money coming back into the team. So I'm not jumping up and down and celebrating when they save money. So I don't care, because it is true. It is literally what deters clubs away from us. And yeah, like you say, managers. So when we're talking about Jose Mourinho, he came in because, you know, he knew what he was going to get from the club. No. Do you know what he did? He overestimated this team because it got to a Champions League final and he thought that Pochettino was the problem and he can get everything out of them. But no, he couldn't. And now it's like, I don't have the players. You signed up for this, bro. You signed up for this because you overestimated this team.
His first statement was that he joined because of the players we had at this team. And then quite quickly he found out that it's not. I mean, Pochettino's style of management is why we were so good under him, because he brought attacking players, and it was the philosophy. Under Mourinho, who's pragmatic, it can only work for so long. And we saw that in the beginning of the season. As soon as it started to go wrong, he hasn't been able to correct it since, because he hasn't got the style of player that he wants. So he didn't overestimate the squad. I think his style of management didn't fit us, and that's why it's going wrong. So we have got great players, but it's just his style of management.
Oh yeah, I think his man management is so outdated. Brian, I'm going to bring you in here because I really want to know your Jose opinions properly. We had a brief discussion before we went live, but I feel like we need to say it. Everyone knows where we stand.
Okay.
What's your thoughts? Do you think he's partly to blame? Like, what's
yeah. But like I've said, it's kind of. I'll start off with Daniel Levy, because Daniel Levy, he's given it the big and I scouted him, I wanted him for 20 years, I've done this. Well, Jose, I mean, Mr. Levy, for 20 years, you know that Jose's MO is come in, have hundreds of millions, win stuff, go toxic, leave. So you should know this happens and it doesn't fit your MO. It's kind of like giving Stevie Wonder the keys to a Formula One car. It's like literally, what is the point? It doesn't work. But when we signed him, I was on Toronto Spurs, and amazing how we didn't apparently have the Dybala money, but 2 weeks later we found 14 million to sack him and give Jose £110,000 a week rise. It's funny how that happened. So when we came, I said we're dancing with the devil. Then after I saw the documentary, I must admit, for the first time, it was the first time you got to see Jose behind the scenes. And obviously you put on what you saw of him, and I like what I saw, especially when he was talking about his dog dying. You saw a real emotional side of him. And I was like, okay, do you know what? This guy's got feelings. I can see what he's doing. And then the season we stopped, the football was atrocious, but we were winning. So all Spurs fans were like, I want to win stuff.
Yeah.
But then something has gone fundamentally wrong. And as I was just saying to you offline, what I actually say to Jose Mourinho now, I now call him the Bipolar Express, because it's like he watches a game of football, we play terrible, and he comes on and he's like, yeah, we played great, our intensity. I'm like, what was you watching?
Second to none. My coaching staff is second to none.
What the hell was you watching? It's like, it gets to the point, and now, do you know what? I even said on We Are Tottenham TV and on my little channel that I have, Tottenham Away, it was, I used to say, head of the problem was Daniel Levy, head of the snake, cut it off, and I honestly despise that man. But literally, I think the only thing good at our club right now is the youth academy and the players coming through, and anyone that works around that. The rest is just toxic and needs to be taken down and rebuilt.
Yeah,
and Jose's a big part.
Exactly. This is where I think people get confused. We just had a whole discussion about Daniel Levy. No one here likes our ball. No one here thinks we are the best team in the world. But I'm not going to sit here and say Jose Mourinho is not a problem. We have many problems at the club. Why do I want to voluntarily add to them? This is what I don't understand about Spurs fans. They're like, he's not the main problem. Okay, but you just told me he is a problem. Why am I adding to them? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? To me, it's just so blatant.
This is the thing. This is the thing. Yeah. I think Toby said this. Shout out to Toby. I think it was on his channel. And he was saying, everything at our football club is not aligned. We've got a poor board. We've got poor players. And at the moment, you have to say Jose Mourinho's underachieving. So what you do is you just try and get some of it aligning together. So you get the manager right, get the players right. The board, look, unfortunately, I wish I could just give Daniel Levy all the money in the world to buy the club and run it myself, but I can't. So we just try and fix as much as we can, which I actually do think is the manager. He's making a worse situation even worse, in my opinion.
I'm sorry. We shouldn't be where we are. Zagreb is a sackable offence.
Oh, don't, honestly.
Like, I'm sorry, he shouldn't still be here. Any other manager in the top six, you're telling me we'll keep him right now with this level of win percentage? He's our worst performing manager. We've had a lot of managers. And he's our worst performing manager.
Because of Daniel Levy, isn't it?
In my opinion, one of the best two forwards in the world. You have, to me, the best striker in the world, and you're still managing to underperform this much. To the worst manager percentage we have, and yet
he's still the Premier League top goal scorer. So he's doing his job, and it's like
assists.
Yeah, and top of us, exactly. Yeah. But he's so stupid. Honestly, you don't see Jose Mourinho go into his and say, right. He doesn't bring out pie charts and everything and say this is how we can get our commercial revenue. He doesn't go in there. He's the manager, and so is the other 14 before them. listen to what the manager bloody says. That's his job, but you have to stick your nose in it. Oh, I'm getting. Yes. Sorry.
For those of the fans that say Mourinho's not the problem, all you had to do is look at the end of the Man United game where Mourinho goes over to Pogba and Son looks like he doesn't want to be near Mourinho. He avoids him and walks away without any. And for me, that speaks volumes. That means that there's massive problems there.
We've seen Rodon's dad liking Jose out tweets on Twitter.
I didn't know that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Well,
really?
I've got all the screenshots, guys. I will.
Wow.
I've seen that. There's a few other things that I've
Dele
seen.
Alli this week on Instagram Live.
Dele Alli was so obvious. As much as people think that wasn't, it was so obvious.
Yeah.
And I just think, I get that they're not top players, right? But they're still in that dressing room. And
this is the thing.
As we've heard, Dele's really liked in that dressing room. A lot of the players actually back him. They don't like you talking about that and talking like that. I don't want, we're like one loss away for him to say I've got more trophies than this club. Like we're like one loss away from that. And I just think if he starts disrespecting my club, that's it. You sack him in that press conference. I'll walk in and sack him right there and then.
I think Jose is brainwashing the fan base into thinking this team's terrible. I genuinely do. We're not saying that our defense is amazing, but I'm sorry, we have to be playing a lot better. Like we have got good players in this team. Let's have it right. And Ndombele's a good player. I think Lo Celso's got potential. Reguilon's a good player. Kane, Son, Lamela. Not Lamela, sorry. Forget him. Mora.
You
it's
have
not
Bale.
bad.
Bale with different
Bale, Dele. We've got the players there.
You know the worrying thing when you just said that Joe Rodon's dad has liked it. Joe Rodon is in his good books. So you got someone in Jose Mourinho's good books saying Jose out. So that just goes to show the comical club we are.
Yeah,
it is a joke at the minute. 100%. Absolute joke.
And like we say, we mentioned Toby briefly, which was really good from Tans and you lot, by the way, because I was just about to touch on it. For me, the way that you haven't, you're voluntarily, he's all about results, but he's voluntarily not started our best defender because you don't like him. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's all about ego. And for me, it's like, he said he does this for his fan base, not the club, his fan base. Like, I'm just like the way he talks to me, he's not helping himself. No. And like, for me, it's like, are you trying to get sacked? Like, I just don't understand. Like, did you hear his reason why he lied about Toby? Did anyone hear that?
No.
Like, it was like the most crappy thing I've ever heard in my life. It was just a bunch of waffle. Like he could have just said I got confused, but he didn't. He just went on about like random stuff like you don't know what's going, like stuff like that.
Toby's dad had to come out and say that Toby was in training. That's how bad that lie is. His dad had to come out and say that.
Imagine going to work 2 days in a row and your boss just saying you weren't there. Like
he forgot his PE kit.
Honestly, I just think and to think that Toby was one of the people that were really Jose in. I get that Toby turned on Poch. People are going to say, oh, but you turned on Poch. That's fine. I get that a lot of these players do need to go because they are turning on managers. But Poch left us in a mess, but compare that mess to this mess. Very, very different. A Jose Mourinho mess is totally different to any other manager's mess. And we've seen it at many, many clubs. Like you've said, he's brainwashing the fans like he did at United to think that these players are uncoachable.
And I've heard from United fans as well. Like, I've been speaking to quite a few of them because, it is good to get their perspective as well. Is it the exact same? And they said, honestly, like, it is very reminiscent of how us Man United fans used to feel. He did make us feel like our players are not good enough. He didn't really respect.
What's he supposed to do? Paul Jose Mourinho, get the violins out.
Luke
Shaw. I don't understand.
And I think most of the time, sometimes he's right about players, but I think a lot of the time he's wrong. Luke Shaw, look at him now, absolutely flying.
And he was calling him out so much, Luke Shaw,
all the time.
The players. But I just, for me, it's just like, I'm just sitting here thinking, are these players that bad? And can we get something out of them under a different manager? I mean, we're looking at the Newcastle game. Newcastle outplayed us. They should have won. Yeah. This is a Steve Bruce.
So bad. It's so bad.
This game was called El Jurassico, and he couldn't win El Jurassico. Like, I'm sorry, but Alan, go. I was just about to bring you in.
It's not just that earlier on in the season, home to Fulham when we drew 1-1. Fulham outplayed us all game pretty much. It's not the thing that's just happened in recent. It was happening earlier in the season, but we had good results that masked over it. So it's never been brilliant. We've had the odd game where we've looked really good defensive-wise against Man City and then against Arsenal at home. But any other big game, we've just been awful.
But also, Arsenal at home in that second half was poor.
That
second
great.
half was terrible. I mean, you're thinking if that was a different team, they could have been clinical there. I said, and I remember when I messaged Tans about coming on this show. This was just when we won 3-1 against Sheffield United, and then Domblé scored that brilliant goal. I got pelters on this channel because I said the way we're playing is not sustainable. I don't care. You're not expected to create 3 chances a game and expect your players to score 3 chances every game. And I was told that, you're winning games. What's your issue? I can see we're not going to last. We're not going to win the league because
you could just tell,
way to play. And everyone was like, "You're mad, blah blah. You're being negative." No, look at what's happened. Harry Kane and Son cannot score every chance they are given. You need to create more chances a game for them to score goals. But we are creating 2-3 chances, expecting them to score it. If they miss, that's when it's a draw or a loss. And that's what's happening. It's catching up to us. Our expected goal ratio is catching up to us. Everyone hates XG. I'm sorry, but it at the moment, you've got to realize that sometimes it's the sustainability. In a standalone game, I get XG doesn't count. But the fact that you're doing it every game, you got to look at it as a long-term thing. Brian, I'm going to bring you in here. What do you think about, the fact that we were top of the league at one point this season? Doesn't even feel like the same season, does it?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, I think the problem is, and the way I say to it is, when it comes to buying the players that we need for the squad, we never go for the diamonds. Daniel Levy will always go for a lump of coal and try and turn it into a diamond and then sell it for a profit. Now, I don't mind if you do that occasionally, but you've got to get some diamonds in there to help them. When you talk about Toby, I mean, how this guy, like, we obviously know there's a big problem and he's probably out the door in the summer. So why wouldn't you use these 8 games to give Joe Rodon as much experience and as much with the best defender you've got to say next season you're going to be our number 1 defender or alongside another defender. I want you to work along this guy. I honestly, I don't understand anything that's going on in the club at the moment. I don't understand. I really, really don't. And it's just, Joe, I'm kind of looking forward to the Euros because at least England might give us some cheer because I used to hate the international breaks and just love the Euros, but now I'm praying for them. It's like we need an international break every week.
It's insane. Alan, go ahead.
I don't see Mourinho staying. Even if he was to somehow get top 4, which he's not going to, or win a cup, he's not going to. He's definitely going at the end of the season. And I hope. You ever seen the film Jerry Maguire, where he gets fired and René Zellweger stands up? I hope that Dyer stands up and goes, "I'll go with you, Jose," and then Mourinho looks round and goes, "The fish, come with me," and get Doherty and Davinson Sanchez in the bag and walk out with them. And they all leave together. That's what I hope. And then we bring in world-class players to go into. We need to buy ready-made, world-class defence. We can't buy kids.
This is the thing. And so, Tanya, I'm going to start with you. What manager do you think we will get if we do get rid of Jose? Do you think he's going? And who would you like?
I'm telling you, the names that I've heard Ryan Mason, I've heard Scott Parker. Scott Parker, I think he's a good coach. Do I think he's ready for Tottenham? No.
Yeah.
So realistically, the name that I did see come up that I possibly think might happen is Sarri. Do I want Sarri? I'm not so sure, but I wouldn't be completely against it. But I've also seen Nuno from Wolves. I don't want Nuno.
No. That's Jose Mourinho 2.0.
No. That's what I mean. It's a bit concerning because I think there is a bit of a shortage of managers. I think Nagelsmann, we have to say now, is a bit unattainable. I think Bayern Munich, he's destined to go there. And you're seeing so many reports about, we have to pay something like 20 million or something. I think I saw today. I don't think that's happening. I'd love it to happen, but I don't think it is. So probably end up with Sarri or Nuno. That's this club, innit? We'll probably end up with those two.
Because sacking Poch, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, you were 14th," whatever. But sacking Poch has now left us in a huge mess. Because now he's like the perfect manager for the rebuild that we need now. So it's like we got a manager to win things when we don't have the team. Like,
My problem with Sarri is Sarri ball for Chelsea didn't really happen, did it? It wasn't really that great. And then my only problem with Sarri is coming to the Premier League after he had that incident with Kephart, who that wouldn't come off the pitch and basically overruled.
God, that was awful.
If you've got actually bad eggs at Spurs who obviously go against managers, why are you going to put them in the same situation where they're probably just going to go, well, it's already happened to you once, I'm not going to come off. I
don't think we should. I don't think there's too much worry about Sarri. I think Alistair Gold already kind of debunked that whole thing.
And bless him, he'll end up smoking about 20 on that touchline. So it's best saving the trouble.
Specifically smoking that Jose deck. Specifically. Brian, what about you? Who would you want in? Are you Jose out formally? And do you want? Is there anyone you actually wanted?
So first of all, we're sorry. What is it with us buying Chelsea or signing Chelsea rejects?
I don't get it.
That's the only thing. I mean, obviously, it's not worked with two of them. So why third time lucky? Maybe it's buy two get one free kind of a. Who knows? Who knows? So the guy. Listen, like you said at the beginning, it's come to the point where I don't think it matters who we get. It's coming to the point of who wants to work with Levy. But what I want, and I've said it for a long time, is I don't understand why the managers don't get to pick their scouting network. Yeah. And if they did, if they could do that, the one person I want is Ten Hag. Because we're going to have to work with youngsters. Yeah. And if there's anyone that knows how to work with youngsters or has a good scouting network we could recruit and get bloody hitching out the door.
Please, gosh.
It would be, and this is the thing, if he went and did it and got Ten Hag and we got all the recruitment and everything Ten Hag wanted, like I said, I'm Levy's number one hater. I'm actually proud of that title, but literally, he would buy 5 years silence from me because I would understand the direction that we're trying to go in.
Yeah,
you can't. Whoever comes in is going to have to spend money, and the other thing is what Levy has done. The brilliant brain of Levy is. He's gone from attacking manager to defensive manager to attacking manager to defensive manager to attacking manager to defensive manager. You've got the attacking manager buying the attacking players like Harry Redknapp. Then we get an AVB who's defensive. Then we get a Poch. So it's like you're getting all the wrong players. So when the next manager comes in, they need to have some kind of consistency. So we're playing at one kind of style of football, and I would do anything to get Ten Hag, but we'll probably end up with someone from Macedonia, knowing him, that won't take any money, will spend like £5.50 on a transfer, and Levy will love it.
A yes man, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
I think
what do you think?
Sorry,
go on, Tan, sorry.
No. I was just quickly going to say, I do honestly think we need to go for another Poch-like manager, a manager that is going to, as much as we say that we need players, I think we do, but we keep hearing that we're going to have to sell players to buy. So I think we need a proper coach that is just going to find these gems of players, work with the youngsters like Brian was saying, and just hope that they do well with this rebuild, because we are in a rebuild. I just think if you are asking a serial winner again to come in like a Simeone, let's say, on Allegri, they're gonna want top players, and again, that's not gonna work. So bringing a manager that is gonna work with Levy and the environment.
And the only reason, like you've said, you're dancing with the devil when you're getting Jose. The only reason why you're getting him is literally to spend money. And I think, have we finally changed our philosophy? Are we finally going to spend money? No, we didn't. We expected him to. He thought that he could work with the squad. He couldn't work with the squad, and then we expected him to just deal with it. And it's like there's no point of getting a Jose Mourinho if you're not going to give him the Jose Mourinho checkbook. And it's like we need to just stick to what we know if we're not going to change our ways. I've always said what I want to do is move Daniel Levy off everything football. If you want to be the businessman and you've grown us off the pitch brilliantly, you've made us a Real Madrid off the pitch and we're a Barnsley on the pitch. That's the way I describe it, right? if you want to grow us off the pitch, that's fine, but get someone, stay everything football, you stay away. You have no say in everything football. You do everything business. But you want to get someone in to be an actual DOF and actually be head of that football side of things. That's how I see us working. We need to do it like Leicester, where they actually recruit better. They do it on the cheap. They recruit better, and they coach these players and get a proper coaching. This is why I see ENIC ain't going anywhere. I can scream ENIC out from the hilltops until someone puts down 3 billion or whatever we're going to sell the club for.
I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find a way to raise that cash. I'm telling you.
Go fund me.
You know what I'm telling you? They're not going anywhere. So why am I going to sit here and say, well, the managers deserve no criticism? No, the only way I'm going to see some sort of success, long period of time, But I would say winning one thing, winning a League Cup now is nothing compared to winning something regularly. There's winning and then winning sustainably. And they're two different things. And what club we want to be in is that winning sustainably, not win a League Cup and then don't win anything and be seventh. Which is what, not only did we didn't do that under Poch, but we were growing that. And I feel like the point was that he made mistakes that we weren't actually winning cups, because we did have a team to win cups. But we were under that sort of plan. And I think now we're just here, win a trophy, and then limbo. We finish ninth, it's cool. We finish eighth next season, it's cool. Like, we're not going to do that under Jose. And I just think, if I'm going to be honest, we need Daniel Levy to step away from football, get a recruitment team in, and actually get a manager that, like you say, a Poch type manager. Alan, what's your list of managers that you want?
So ideally, it would be one of a couple. It would be Nagelsmann, Brendan Rodgers. People now, because obviously Leicester are starting to fall. I still think he's a good manager. I still think with the right team, he could win stuff.
Better than what we got anyway.
Yeah, definitely better than what we got. Hasenhüttl, I think he can work with the youngsters, and he's got an attack-minded philosophy. So I think well, what are you laughing at?
No, because I said him before, and
we've had this conversation before.
I believe he can work with youngsters and is more attack-minded. So suiting the players that we've got, I think, would be better. Or Ten Hag. I don't see anyone else available out there. I don't think Allegri would come to us. I don't think we're the right team for Allegri as well. I don't see Nuno Santos. No, I don't want him.
Like, why? Why would Simeone leave Atletico? He's got his defensive team. He's drilled them. Don't get it.
It's the same method with a slightly better manager that I don't think would work. So I wouldn't want him either. But they're my list. Will we get any of them? Probably not.
That's the thing.
Our list is we literally look like we're in the mud with the list.
For me, this is a crucial point in Tottenham's. I mean, if we don't get it right the next summer or anything like that, we could be where we were 10 years ago for a couple of seasons. This is a crucial point of our history.
You built this huge stadium. Are you going to put the right manager in to now actually use it? You got rid of the manager we need now. So fix your problem and put it right and put that money, whatever, 20 million, get Nagelsmann. That's what's going to sort this club out. But they won't do it. Go on, Brian.
Well, the worrying thing is we've gone from the great king himself, Pochettino, to the devil in Mourinho. And it's got to the point where I've actually heard, and this is how far we're falling, some people now, I like the way he plays football, but people are mentioning Graham Potter from Brighton. Now, I love the style of football they're playing, and he's doing it with... people that aren't as talented, but how can you go from the heights of Mourinho, the heights of Poch, and then get this well-established best manager ever, won 26 trophies, to Graham Potter?
Yeah.
It's just...
do you know what? I see this, right? I had this conversation with my dad, actually. I said, you know what? We're probably going to end up with Potter. And he plays good football. And my dad was like, listen, like, he plays good football, but you know, how backwards are we going if we end up with Potter?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I get that. I genuinely do. But honestly, right now, I have a feeling that anyone attack-minded is better than Jose Mourinho. At least they won't argue with their players. And everyone in their whole circle, Tans, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I've had a few conversations with Spurs fans who are actually quite keen on Potter, which is quite interesting that you bring that up, Brian. Look, I think he does play good football. But again, I just think, what message is that sending? You know, when we are trying to get players, Graham Potter's the manager. They're going to be like, who's that? You know, come on. I think, as I say, great manager, but it's too big. I just think it's too big.
Not ready. You don't want to do what a Frank Lampard, for example. You don't want to get someone that's just not ready.
You never know, because Poch, I have to admit, at the time, when we appointed him, I thought, Poch, really? Like, what's he going to do? And he's completely surprised us. But again, I think Levy got lucky with that. They got lucky. Yeah. They just found a gem.
He admitted that in the doc. Yeah. He said that in the doc. He said, I got lucky. And I think we got lucky with a lot of players we struck as well. We struck youngsters. And, you know, you get youngsters that have a potential, but you never know they're going to reach that potential. And we struck Eric Dyer at the time. He was great. We struck, you know, all these players. Son, he was great. That's not going to happen all the time.
Dele Alli.
Exactly.
Dele Alli being on fire.
That was
for 5 mil. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You see, you don't get these players all the time. You know, Toby, when he bought him from Southampton with him, you don't get them to be that good all the time. Jan under the right coaching was incredible. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like we're not going to get that whole same feel again, but we need to try and emulate it. And as you said, you know, you never know. A funny thing is when we hired Poch, I was at my granddad's and I looked at my dad and I was like, well, what do you think of him? And he was like, I like him. He plays good football. That's who we were at the time. Getting a Southampton manager that played good football was a good thing. He was like, I like him. Plays good football. And then he goes, see, I told you I always liked him, which was funny.
You got to remember as well with Pochettino, he was an established Argentinian international. He'd managed a couple of clubs. He'd done wonders at Southampton. Now, I'm sorry to cause offence to Graham Potter, but the only time I'd ever heard of him in my life is when the filth down the road drew them in the Europa League. I'd never heard his name before that. Then he got Swansea. So it's kind of Pochettino was a well-established World Cup player.
Yeah.
Graham Potter was he's known because he played Arsenal in Europa League and then got scouted to Swansea. So he does play great football. And he's got Brighton are unfortunate, but I think the job's just too big for him right now.
Yeah, I totally get that. What's everyone's thoughts on Scott Parker?
No, I like him, but I think even me, I'm getting carried away. You know, look at Fulham now; they're not getting the results, and they play great football, yes, but he is in a relegation battle, and it looks like they could go down. And people forget they did actually just scrape getting into the Premier League. He's not ready. He's one for the future, but I don't want to see another Frank Lampard situation or an Arteta. You know, I don't want that for us, you know. So, no. But I do like Scott Parker. I do like him.
Brian, what's your thoughts on Scott Parker? That's another name I hear.
So, Scott Parker, the man I love. But I say this for my club, obviously, the most. But I hate ex-players coming back as managers. And the only reason I do, I mean, Scott Parker won't go down as a Tottenham Hotspur legend. But if you look at people like Glenn Hoddle,
I knew you were going to say this.
Well, it's the easiest one to mention now. Obviously, he is still known as God and was, if not the greatest player to ever play for us. But with all that Eileen Jury at the World Cup and then the way it went at Tottenham, you can't help but your reputation's that little bit tarnished. Obviously, our dealers, look at that. I mean, let's play the famous five up front. I just don't like it because more often than not, these ex-players aren't going to strike gold.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Ollie, for example.
Exactly. I just don't. I'm not a firm believer in it. Just like having a goalkeeper at captain, I just don't get it. I just don't. How can a captain?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
We spoke about this when we had Graham Roberts on the show, and we spoke about how would you being a defender on the pitch, what would you think about captain being a goalkeeper? He was like, it has to be an outfield player, like a player that's actually on the pitch, ready to actually dictate something, because you can't do much from where you are, and it doesn't make sense to me. I get that he's won stuff and he's very well respected, but he's not on the pitch to do enough. For me, Højbjerg is, if he stays, he's like a future captain
without doubt.
Yeah,
I think he's got that attitude. But I have this is a question I was asked on my live the other day, which is quite an interesting question to ask you lot. Do you think Højbjerg's been a little bit overrated by Spurs fans? I'm going to go to Alan on this first. Do you think he sort of dropped off a bit? It was really good when we were top of the league. I don't see him putting in that same amount of performances, but I think he's still got the passion and the effort. Yeah? Hello? Is he frozen? I can't hear you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't hear you. Were cutting out.
Okay.
Oh no, I could hear you, Eleanor. Maybe it's just his end.
You go.
I'll go.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we've overrated him. I think, look, he's not been great in these recent performances, but I think the way he has played for the majority of this season outweighs those bad performances. And you have to say, exactly, you have to say he is a Jose signing as well. He's going to do that hard graft. He's going to break up play, and he is a position that we needed. And I think he has done a good job, especially when you look at the transfer itself. We paid like 3 million or 5 million, whatever it was. So I think it's good business. I just think, unfortunately, we've not been in great form, and our defense probably doesn't help things. He's having to work extra hard. Our midfield's having to work extra hard at the moment. So I think he would struggle in this team. But I don't doubt he's a very good player. I don't doubt that at all.
Brian, what's your thoughts on Højbjerg at the moment?
I am Højbjerg's number one fan. I love that dude. I think he's the signing of the entire transfer window. What you got to remember is tomorrow, if he plays, which no doubt he is, because he's a blooming machine. I think he's a Terminator if you cut him open. This will be his 53rd game of the season.
Wow.
And for a majority of him, he plays 90 minutes. The guy is absolutely knackered. He's like running around and does the work for like 3 players, running back, forward. His passion is... He's knackered. This guy needs a rest. If he had someone else to halve it and help him with his workload and rotate, then I think we still have the Pierre-Emile Højbjerg we had against Arsenal. Yeah. But it's just got to the point when you play 53 games. I don't care how good you are knackered. Your body can't cope with it. 100%. And he's doing the work of 3 people. So come the end of the season and we start again next season, we'll get the same Pierre. But I don't actually want him to play against Everton or Southampton. I want him to have a proper rest so he is recharged and ready to go in that final, because he's going to need to be 150% to keep up with that game.
100%. This is the thing. For me, I'm like, I love him. I think, like you say, he was most important transfer, our best transfer of the window. He's been unreal. He transformed that team. Considering how bad our defense is, can you imagine if he wasn't there as well? It would actually be a joke. But for me, I just think that he is doing, like you said, too much. He's having to take too much on. He's having to do work for that defense. He's having to do work for himself. But I just feel like he needs that rest. And I agree. We're out the top 4 race. Just don't play him against Everton or Southampton.
It's testament to him how good he is at his job, because we don't have anyone else that can do his job in the team. And that's why he is being overplayed, which I think it's a brilliant point from Brian. You don't realise he's probably knackered, the poor guy. He's having to play in Europa League games as well. Jose was having to bring him on because he does do that job so well. It's like when he's not on that pitch, we look so lost.
I can't imagine a team without him in the starting lineup now. And it's like, you weren't there last season and it's like so normal for him to be there. For me, though, this is what we did. We prioritised the DM and we got him. And that's perfect. Great. But everyone's saying, Jose didn't get his defenders. You prioritised other signings over it. You then gave Eric Dyer a new contract. Now, everyone's going to say to me, he didn't want him to go on a free. No. You gave him a new contract to play him. We knew you wanted him in this team. Stop lying to yourselves and telling you it's to sell him on, because that was never the point. You wanted to be your main centre-backs. And then you gave Toby a new contract. And, now he doesn't want you two have had a falling out. You don't want to play him. But this is your defence, bro. Work with it now, because you chose to have this defence. We're not a Man City where when things don't work, we just buy you a new player. That's not the way it works at Tottenham. Sorry, that's not the way it runs. You have to be able to coach your players, and you decided to get these players, and that's all it is for me. It's like everyone forgets that it's not his defense, but you did choose it. Alan, what's your thoughts right now on our defense, what we need to do, him, with his signings, for example?
So going back to the Højbjerg, a brilliant player, great at what he does. Yeah. For me, he just needs to be told. Earlier on in the season, he was just sitting in there doing the ugly work and then breaking play up and letting everyone else go forward. Now, for some reason, he's moving up the pitch and trying to play and all that. For me, he just needs to sit there, do what Makelele used to do for Chelsea. Just sit there, do the ugly work and all that. That's where he shines. That's where he's best, and let everyone else do everything like that. But for some reason, he's now having to go forward. Like I said, the only ones that I'd keep in that defence would be Reguilon, Tanganga, Rodon, Alderweireld. We need to buy quality, world class. We can't buy people that are going to be there in 2 or 3 seasons' time. We've got that many. If we've don't
got those youngsters in Tanganga and Rodon, we've got them. Yeah, we don't need to buy more youngsters.
You need to fill them with quality defenders, because if we don't, if we can address that and buy quality then I think we'll be all right moving forward. But if we don't address that, if we don't get rid of Mourinho, then I just think that I just got bad feelings about Spurs. I mean, you've got a great training facility, you've got a great stadium, and you fill it with a bad manager and bad players, or players that can't live up to it. It's not an enticing thing for anybody to come into, really.
It's just toxic all round, and there's a lot that needs to go. I'm gonna go one by one here. Give me 3 players that you want out. First, 3 players, only 3. I know we could go on through more, but 3 players each. The first 3 that come to your mind that you want out. Brian, you go.
Dyer, Aurier, Dele.
Wow.
Oh, we'll come back to reasoning after because I do want some reasoning on that. Tans, you go.
Dyer, Sanchez, Sissoko.
Okay, Alan.
You're all forgetting Doherty. What are you doing?
Oh my God, Doherty!
That's how bad he's been. I've forgotten about him.
Shame on you two.
Shame on me. No,
Doherty.
I pat myself on the hand. Honestly, I'm tucked up.
Doherty, Sanchez, and Dyer.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with Alan. Brian, please explain Aurier and who did you say? Aurier
and Dele.
I don't disagree.
I don't disagree with the Dele thing to an extent, but go on.
So Dele, don't get me wrong, when we signed him and we got him, he was just out of this world and the greatest thing. But he has a terrible, terrible attitude.
I agree.
People have got to remember this wasn't just under Mourinho. We saw it he weren't great for the last year and a half of Poch. And he just thinks, I'm Dele Alli, I'm this person, I deserve to get everything I want. Yeah. He has believed his hype so much and used it to expand his empire in social media and all this and express himself how he wants to now. You've been given the world. You've got a job that millions of us would do anything to experience for 1 minute, let alone do it for a living. And it's like literally, don't get me wrong, in the European game at home, he was brilliant. In Marine against the FA Cup, he was brilliant. But this is Dele Alli, who is the best youngster in Europe. And it comes to a point where his contract is running out. And there were talks that last season he was worth 45. And I heard a rumour that Villa were after him for 25. And it's like, we need money. In my eyes, what I would do if we could sign one player right now, it's raise 75 million and go buy Skriniar like we should have done last year. And the easiest way to raise that 75 is to get rid of a big star in Dele Alli. Yeah, so I think it gets to the point now where you've thrown your toys out of the pram for way too long. And you can't come back from this, especially with that nonsense social media that came out on Friday with touching his hat. It's like, you bloody idiot. You're trying to get into the squad and you're just doing anything. And it comes to a point, especially as well in the documentary, when you see him laying on the injury table talking about what chocolate you should eat. I'm like, what has this club come to? I completely, that's how bad Doherty has been. I completely forgot about him. But the thing is as well, you look at it, Wolves done a number on us because they knew they were going to a flat back 4 and he couldn't play it. So they gave him to us for cheap.
I said this when we got him. He cannot play as a defensive right back. He's a right wing back when he pushes the pitch. Not to mention that he's a gooner, so I don't want to sign any more gooners.
Yeah, that's where I came short on him. Was when I saw that whole video of him like doing that, I was like,
"Oh no!"
My dad he doesn't even care if he turns good. He just wants him out now. He just doesn't even care. Well, no,
who's the other said? Aurier, you wanted to know. Yeah. So Aurier, God bless him. I mean, he's a mistake waiting to happen, but I have so much respect for him for continuing after his brother's untimely death and whatever happened.
100%.
He won so many fair dues. You went up in my estimation and respect a billion times. But you look at games like he's played very well this season. No doubt there's been an improvement. But you look at that pathetic game when we lost to Leicester 2-0 and that penalty he gave away for no reason. He's just always got that mistake in him. Yeah. And as you said at the beginning of the show with Walker, what I don't understand with us is we got 50 million for him, yet we've had Trippier, Aurier and Doherty, which have cost more than the 50 million. Why don't you just go out and spend 40, say, here you go, we've got 50 million. Let's go spend 40 million on a right back who can play with that. We just don't do it. So, like I said, my aim is just to try and get the players out that we can get the money for so we can go buy Skriniar. That's my entire logic behind everything.
I think it's for me. I get the whole Delhi thing. He's our most valuable asset, and if he's not going to work here, we need to sell him because we need money. So I get that he's our most valuable asset that we need. As much as I love him, I totally get that. With the Uriah thing, I get what you mean. We need a better right back. Doherty to me is a much bigger issue, but you forgot because he's that much of an issue that you forgot about him. So I'll let you off there. We're gonna go. We've literally had a great chat. It's been an hour already, and we haven't even
much needed chat.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go quickly. We're gonna go around and we're gonna do score prediction for Everton. Not that we're expecting much. Did Everton draw against Palace?
0-0. It was Brighton. They had their last game against Brighton. It was 0-0.
Oh,
so
Brighton, yeah. I was a bit like, we've got a chance, but we've got a final coming up. What do? We need to get some sort of form in. I'm gonna go 2-1, only because I want to start believing we're gonna get some form in before this final. We need to go on a run at least. We can't just go and rock up to this final losing 3 games in a row and just think, we're fine. So I'm gonna go 2-1. Just back up. I'm just gonna back them a bit and pray to the heavens, but it's not realistic. But anyway, Brian, you go.
Okay, so this is what it's become to now. On my channel, we do a Friday night show with another guy here from Toronto, and it's got so bad for us that we've decided that we're going to do a score prediction, and if we get it exactly right, we have to do forfeits. So that is added fun to the game because they've been so boring. I've said I don't know why. There's no point trying to take an educated guess at what's going to happen. So you might as well just pick it out at random. So I've gone for 2-0 us. Just because I can never go against us. I've gone 2-0 for us. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
We're not confident. Yeah.
But I've gone 2-0. Just please God, for once, listen to me. 2-0 us.
Tans, go with your score prediction.
I have to say it's probably going to be a 1-1, just because I feel like Everton, in a way, they're very similar to us. I think it's battle of the bottles, isn't it? I think they have that in them to bottle games, and they're very hot and cold.
5-4 says that the 5-4 is 100%.
Yeah. They're very hot and cold, and the only thing I will say, Richarlison's going to score against us, and that for a fact. But Calvert-Lewin is injured for the game, so maybe that could be a boost for us, but I honestly just feel so deflated when it comes to Spurs. I don't even have it in me, guys, to say that we're definitely going to win. So 1-1 draw. 1-1 draw.
It's funny that I'm sitting there saying, it's a point, at least it's not a defeat. Jesus
I know,
Christ,
I feel so bad, I want to be positive, but I can't do it.
Alan, what's your score prediction for Everton?
I can't go with what my head says because otherwise I'll be going against Spurs on live. So I can't really do that. So my heart says same as Tans, 1-1 or maybe a 2-1 win for us. But if I was to go with my head, I would be putting us down for a loss. But
I get that. We're not putting money on us to win. Basically, is what we're saying.
God, what is this club cup? What is it doing to us? Honestly,
it's actually so depressing. But thank you all for joining me. It's been a really good, I think, much needed therapy session. To be honest, we love doing these. Me and Tans call this therapy every week because it's just great. But yeah, shout out all your stuff, Brian. Shout out everything you do, all your channels, everything.
First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really, really have enjoyed it, and you're right, it is therapy.
To have you on.
It really is therapy. If we didn't have this, God knows where we'd all be. But yeah, we started a YouTube channel called Tottenham Away. It's simply just Tottenham Away. Our socials are Tottenham_away. And my Twitter is just Bridagul, which is BRIDAGUL. But on Tottenham Away, we like speaking to any fans across the world, talking about what Spurs means to them if they're in a different country and the time zones that they have to get up and what Tottenham does to them and how many times they've had depression and how many times they've had to go, Jesus Christ, I got up at 4 a.m. for this. So it's just a bit of banter. But yeah, it's a great channel and we'd love it if people liked and subscribed, and we'd love to get all of you on at some point.
Definitely, and we do have Stelios next week, I think, on here.
You do.
He's a total opposite to us on Jose, by the way. I mean,
wow.
That's gonna be fun.
It'll be an interesting one. We'll see. He might change his mind by then.
He wouldn't have. But I'll tell you one thing: he's just as much Levy and Enoch out as me.
That's good. We'll agree there.
So if you need to have a Levy and Enoch discussion, and if you ever do a Levy and Enoch discussion like a proper show, please make me your number one guest because I will rip them up to pieces.
You will be called 100%. You're definitely coming back on. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. Alan, where can everyone find you? My new panelist will be here every week.
Yeah, people can find me on here and occasionally on the Football Terrace as well. And then on Twitter, Alan R. Clark 3.
And you are thinking of starting your own channel.
That will be for next season. That will be for next season, yes.
Yeah, he's been thinking about it for a while, to be fair.
Yeah,
I keep wanting to say it.
Yes.
You're great at it, so we're all rooting for you.
Thank you very much.
Where can everyone find you? Shout out your pod as well.
Yeah, so you can find me on the Football Terrace at Tottenham Show with Eleanor and Alan. You can find me Midnight Vibes as well on the Football Terrace. And then, my podcast that I do, 3 of my boys, footballing podcast. Oh, my God, if you want to hear my meltdowns about Spurs, check it out, people.
It's 10-10.
Apple Podcast,
10-10.
Spotify, and we've got a Twitter and Instagram, so and you can find me on Twitter as well. Just my out's there. So
make sure you check all of their stuff out. All great content creators. And this is where we all wave awkwardly until I actually press end broadcast because I'm quite useless at that.
Jelly wave. Jelly wave.
Jelly wave.